librarian at Scott Catholic High School. I've always enjoyed libraries. As an elementary student, the bookmobile used to come to my school twice a week, and that was a big thing for me. I never missed it. So I've always liked books. Unfortunately, I try to push books that I like sometimes. My parents weren't well off. It was difficult for us to get to a public library, so the bookmobile was my best option. Once I got a little older and I drove, I did go to the nearest public library almost once a week. During the summer, that was my haven. I would go there and check out books. I was often told by my mom, go outside and play, or just go outside and enjoy the sun. I would often go outside with a book instead of playing, but I did do a lot of playing too.
Just pretend you already are.
Okay. Hi, I'm Amanda. Amanda Sisawan. I'm originally from Japan, and I became a media specialist because the media center has always been a part of my life. And as I was growing up in Japan, I spent most of my time after school in the media center with my friends. In Japan, it's a big thing for us to stay in the media center because after school we go to a tutoring school, and between the time after you finish your school at 4 o'clock until you go to the tutoring school at 7, you have about 3 to 4 hours, and you can always hang out with your friend at the media center, and the parents never question when you say, I'm going to the library. So that's the reason why we always spend time there. And well, I don't know, what else do I say?
You want to go?
Okay, my name's Terry Osborne, and I'm a media specialist with the Bellevue Public Schools. I didn't start out being a media specialist. I always wanted to teach 3rd grade, but I never did. And in my house, when we were growing up, reading was always important. We always used to snuggle up with my mom and have bedtime reading. So I started reading at an early age. And when it came time for me to decide that I wanted to do something different besides teaching, someone said, well, you like to read, why don't you be a librarian? I didn't know librarians were teachers, so I went back to school and I got my library degree, and I've been doing it for 20 years now, and it's great fun. I really love it. A lot of people think that maybe I came from a really educated background, but I didn't. My parents were just kind of lower middle class parents, and somebody said that we are related to Abigail Adams, so she's my great-great-great-great-grandmother, so maybe that's where I get my literary stuff from, because she was certainly one of the greats. But anyway, libraries have always been important to me, and when I was a kid, we used to go to the library, the public library. Very first time we went to the public library, I remember checking out a book I couldn't read. It was way too hard, and then I ended up leaving it on the bumper of my dad's car, and he drove to work with it. It was amazing that it stayed on the car, and one of his co-workers said, hey, you know, you got a book on the back of your car. Boy, did I get in trouble for that. You would think that having that negative experience with libraries would have soured me from libraries, but nothing like that happened. I've been a library aficionado ever since, so that's my story.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Misbach, and I teach high school English, and I'm a library science student at UNO, and I decided that I wanted to become a librarian a few years ago, and I thought about it for about a year, and then decided to go back to school, and I'm almost finished with my coursework. I've always loved books and helping to find books that students will like to read, and I was a big fan of the library growing up. My mom always took us, and I grew up in Council Bluffs, Iowa, and the library was just a few blocks from my house, so we would always walk there in the summer and spend quite a bit of time there checking out books and looking at books. And it was a pretty old building, and the children's floor was the top floor, and so I remember having to walk up many stairs and then walk back down with all of the books that I was checking out, trying not to drop them. And one of my earliest memories in the library was asking the librarian for help finding a book, and as she was bending down lower to help me find this book, I pulled a book out from the top shelf and another book fell out and hit her on the head and split her head, and she was bleeding and had to leave and go get stitches. So I think she remembers me and I remember her from that experience. And ever since then, I've just been a lover of libraries and books.